Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of For the Love of Drag. It's your girl, Astala Vista, a.k.a. Winifred Sanderson.
And I'm Jimmy Butcherson.
Jimmy, ooh, I liked that.
I like that one. I didn't tell you about her.
You threw me off.
I didn't tell you about her.
You threw me off right there, bitch. I won't lie. As you can see today, the black flame candle has been lit. Not really, because the batteries died, but just use your imagination. Which means today we are officially talking about Halloween. Actually, you know what? If you're watching this, obviously you can tell it's not lit. But if you're listening to this, it is lit with the craziest flame you've ever seen.
Like,
all right?
it's a fire hazard.
It's a fire hazard, girl. This is the black flame candle on acid, okay? But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, the gay Christmas itself, Halloween, everybody. So we're going to be diving into past costumes, next costumes coming up, since Halloween's literally in 3 weeks, talking about our favorite memories of Halloween, just a little bit of everything, a little would you rather. So where do we even kick this one off? This one is like overwhelming to me because Halloween is like 50 things in one.
It's everything. It's pumpkin
spice.
spice.
It's horror movie.
It's
like
costumes,
literally, is it as sweet
movies?
as PSLs or is it like Saw guy killing people?
It's literally a little bit of everything.
It's everything.
I guess the best place to start is in the beginning.
Well,
so
Halloween is a pagan holiday, everybody.
Oh, not that far. We don't know shit about that.
I think about all I know.
We only know the commercial version.
Literally.
So I guess we could start with like our childhood memories of Halloween.
Okay,
First
I love
costume.
that. I love that.
Do you remember like the first costume that you remembered? It doesn't have to be your very first one.
Before I even get into costume, because I vampire was like when I was 4 or 5 and I was dying to be that. But I do recall Halloween was gigantic when I was younger. Now I lived in like a cute little neighborhood, like lots of houses. Okay. So there was kids everywhere trick-or-treating. I mean, everybody was going door to door. We made little baggies. Now I have been to other neighborhoods since driving through. It doesn't look like trick-or-treating.
You're the creepy old guy still fucking trick-or-treating?
No, bitch, I'm not trick-or-treating. Get the fuck out of here. No, but like when you go through a neighborhood anymore, like you don't have to wait for kids to cross the street on Halloween because nobody's out. Like it's not like
they have insane curfews and it's like sometimes it's the day before Halloween that this town does it and the next town does it.
I did have that growing up. In Tom's River, they did it on October 30th, so we'd go there on the 30th, and then the 31st we'd do the real Halloween. Yeah, but I do recall it was bigger back in the day. I think at least for the kids were going out. The world wasn't so scary. There wasn't social media to horrify you about you go to their house and they're gonna slip a razor in your fucking apple and shit. So
we were still worried about that. I remember my mom was always worried that the Good and Plenties were pills, the little pink and white little licorice things.
Okay,
those were always supposed to be pills. We always had to throw them out.
But that was like when there was only like one big news article about it or something. Now, like you go on social media and it's just
they're putting edibles in the Halloween candy.
Now that was a good one. Yep, your dealer, he dropped 50 milligrams in each one of your kids' Twizzlers. Okay?
For him to just go home and not even know what's going on.
Literally, like he's not doing that shit. Like if anything, he's going to give it to his own kid and watch the reaction there.
That's the only thing that's happening.
But no, anyway, so what about you for Halloween in the beginning? Same thing for you? It was a little bit bigger?
Yeah, so it was definitely bigger than what it appears to be now. I mean, I don't have too many small children in my life, but I remember I was fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood that had apartments, townhouses, and then like regular single-family homes. So we would start in the apartment complex because that was just door, and then you move to the townhouses because that was very similar, where it was just door after door after door. And then when you got to the real houses, those were the folks in the neighborhood that were rich, and a lot of
big candy bars.
That's
where you got the big candy bars. I know about that life.
I remember one house. The lady's name was Mrs. Hess. It was one of my sister's like friends from school's mom or whatever, and she always gave out the big candy bars. I always got Kit Kats. That was my favorite one back in the day. My first costume, I guess we'll jump into
nowadays too. I have to mention as well. I've noticed a lot of trunk or treating is the new thing.
Oh, when they do in the parking lot?
Where they like go in a parking lot, and then like you just literally.
I guess they're afraid kids are getting kidnapped.
Trunks to trunks.
I don't know what it is.
Which I don't. Does that really make it less hard? But I'll pop the kid, pop him in the trunk, shut the door, and go. Like, does that change anything? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. But whatever.
I don't get it either. It doesn't seem as exciting, and I guess it's fun to decorate your trunk. Maybe.
Okay, they do. It's
a little like
that's true. Rather than having to decorate like a whole yard, that's nice. You could just decorate like you're like, look, we're decorating just the back of the trunk.
And then I get maybe the other thing too is once you're done, you're done. Like at your house, if people are trick or treating, it's like you're there the whole night, or you have to turn the light off and be the asshole.
This is like 1 hour, and that's that.
And
okay,
then you're done.
We'll have to look more into that. I'm talking shit, but I don't know anything.
No,
anyway, your first costume.
I don't know if it was my first. It probably wasn't my first, but the first one I remember, it's between one of two things, and both were very, very similar. Do you remember back in the day, maybe they still have them, they had those like really shitty plastic masks that like didn't breathe at all and had a little eye slit and with a little string that went from here to here, and that was the whole mask idea. So it was either the blue Power Ranger from like the OG Power Rangers, or the Two-Face from the Batman movies that were out at the time, where it was like the pink face and the white face. And
All
then it
right.
had like the matching little suit. It was one of those two. And then whatever the other one was, it was the following year. I did both of them. I just don't remember which one was which. How about you? Do you remember some of your first
The vampire was like the one that I remember the photo. Like standing in the living room, I was a vampire with like a semi-shitty white face with like that little crappy palette you got for $1.98 that had like red, blue, and white in it. And it was translucent white, but it was there. So that was like the first one I remember. One I really wanted to do that I never did. I wanted to do this one for years. I remember was. It's ironic, everybody. I wanted to be a girl for Halloween. So
if you would have just gotten that out of your system,
literally, if I would have gotten that out of my system, I wouldn't be sitting here today. No, I wanted to be a girl so bad for Halloween, and there was other boys that were like obviously straight boys that did it, and I was just jealous because
we had like
I'm
one every year.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, if I do it, it's just gonna be so obvious how gay I am.
Giving it away.
I can't do it. And I remember, I think 7th grade was the last year that I was almost gonna do it. That was the closest I ever got to doing it. And then I chickened the fuck out.
Do you remember what you did?
I don't remember what I did at all. I think I did a dual costume with my friend Emily. I forget what we were, but like I never ended up doing it.
I remember one of the costume contests that they used to do in school. I remember one of the ones that I remember winning like the best was a costume that a kid put together literally the morning of the contest when he got to school. He went to the cafeteria and asked them for a roll of tinfoil, wrapped himself up and said he was leftovers, and then he ended up winning the entire costume.
Oh my, what? That's so shitty, but genius at
so
the same
shitty,
time.
It looked like shit, but it was amazing. It was
okay.
amazing.
The one that I remember when our costume contest, I will say, took a little bit more effort. She clearly had a mom that was like a DIY mom.
Okay.
She had a sweater, and the entire sweater had mini boxes of cereal all over it with little knives in it, and she was a serial killer.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with that.
I was like, all right, bitch, you got
so
that.
Cute.
Like, you
that's
gotta
so
work.
cute. That's so like or Pinterest.
Yep.
Before Pinterest probably existed. We talked about trick or treating briefly. What were some of your like favorite candies that you were on the hunt for back in the day? Do you remember?
It was always those big bars, but what I really liked, and if I was going trick-or-treating today, I would still like, I like when you get somebody that does something weird or different. I like when you get something a little strange.
I mean, obviously it depended on the thing, but like
if you're asking me what my favorite candy is, out of like the bag of Reese's, like I want the peanut butter chocolate fantasy, but like I do like when you go somewhere and somebody has this weird-ass thing where you're like, what the fuck?
I remember there was like one guy that was like a dentist or something, and you would always get like a toothbrush and a little like a travel-sized toothbrush.
Like, I don't know.
What
It's like
the
a
fuck
fun,
am I supposed to do?
Like
I'm
that.
8.
It's like a fun little thing.
I don't
like,
even want to
I
brush
have
my
been given
teeth.
like a bag of carrot sticks and ranch before, and that was when I was like, no, this is getting weird.
Snyder's pretzels when they do that.
Yeah,
I'm, like,
I'm not here for the pretzels either. I'm like, all right, that's not the fantasy, but like, I don't know. I like the weird stuff. I like a gift or like a little something different that maybe isn't edible, like you said, a toothbrush or something weird.
I was always on the hunt for the candy for sure. I think Kit Kat was definitely the thing that I remember. I love a Reese's. Don't get me wrong. Reese's is probably my favorite candy, but like for some reason, Halloween just having that like break apart into 4 concept.
Okay. Do you remember the little pumpkins? They were like this big, and people would give them to you open.
Oh, the little like candy corn pumpkins,
like candy corn-esque pumpkin,
yeah,
but like
was so
it would
weird.
be open in your bag. Like people, I remember just.
Yeah,
because they came in like a giant bag, and people would just like.
Yep, my mom wouldn't allow anything like that. Obviously.
Oh yeah, I didn't eat that.
And
shit.
then anything that was like a wrapper, like a dum dum that you could like untwist, or like a Tootsie Roll kind of a moment. Did you have to get your candy checked and stuff before you could eat it?
Of course.
Yeah. I remember that was like a big deal.
Yep.
And then I remember you'd wake up the next morning and half of the candy wasn't there anymore because it just somehow disappeared.
AKA mom took it, threw it out, or kept it for herself.
Saved it
We'll
in
never
a drawer.
know.
We'll never know.
We'll never quite know.
I understand now. I totally understand now.
But do you also remember the people that would literally leave out a bucket? That would be like, take one.
Those are my favorite people. I was never that bad.
I wasn't either. I really will say I was never the kid that would do the whole thing. I would take like 3, and when I tell you I thought like I robbed a bank and got away with it, I'm like, yeah, bitch, 3, 1, 2, 3, get out the door.
Did you have a fancy trick or treat bag, or were you a pillowcase kid?
I think I had the cute little plastic bags that had like a face on them up until I was probably like 5th grade, and then it was pillowcase from here on out.
Yeah. Well, once you get serious, you're like,
that's
what the
when
fuck
you
is
get
this
serious.
gonna hold?
Yep.
I need a full pillowcase. Yeah, I remember back in the day they used to have like the little matching buckets, and then I think nowadays they have ones that are like if you were like run away from home and put the stick on your shoulder, like it's like a little like stick thing, so you don't have to get like close to people. I think that came out during COVID. It was like a little like.
I want to be alive in the 90s again.
Right. We were talking about trick or treating. Like I wonder like. Back in our day, we used to like play outside and shit.
Yeah.
Like, play tag and hide and seek.
I want Halloween to go back to what it was.
Yeah.
I want the face paint to have lead in it again. Like, let's do this shit.
And the mask all
The
had that in
masks
them.
too, yeah.
You would just be breathing in that like toxic plastic for 4 hours.
I want to see kids passing out after 2 hours. Let's go.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Dodging the cars, like you said. So I think we're going to take a quick little break, but when we get back, I have a Halloween/fall themed Would You Rather that I wanted to
Ooh,
play.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with that. Welcome back to For the Love of Drag Pod. Before we went to break, Astala and I were discussing some Halloween costumes we wore as a kid. And one thing that I recall during break that we didn't talk about was I never actually got to see the movie at the time. I didn't see the movie until I was late teens, early 20s. But do you remember those Scream masks that had the little pump that would go down your arm that would bleed down your face and the blood was like inside of it?
Chris, growing up, literally both had them. We were obsessed. I believe one of them
jealous.
cracked at one point. I think
Well,
the
that's a
year
mess.
before we had that, I was the regular one. Actually, no. There was a silly-faced one. There was a Scream mask that had a silly tongue out.
Yep.
And I was him the year before.
They did all different variations. Yeah, I forget the story, but like
It was the... Maybe it was the year after. It was the one from Scary Movie. The Waza!
Oh my God, I totally forgot they did that too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like that mask existed before the movie or they made it in the movie. I forget what it was. There's a whole story with the mask or the movie. I forget what
There's
it was.
a lot of stories out there,
There's
but I
so
don't
many,
know what
so
the fuck
many
that one
stories.
is.
But when I said when we came back, I wanted to play a game of Halloween Would You Rather / Fall Would You Rather. So if you're down for that, I would love
I
to
am
get started.
so down. I have a feeling this is going to be very, very easy because I do like what I like this time of year. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Like I like what I like.
Some
I've
of these-
I've done fall for so many years, and I know what I want to do every fall.
I will say my Google resources here did get a little abstract with some of them, so
Okay.
it might be a little more of a thinker than
All
you're
right, let's do this.
anticipating.
I'm excited.
So the first one, would you rather have leaves or straw for hair?
For hair?
See? Exactly. Got you already, bitch.
What? So if I just had to have hair,
Yep, that was made of leaves or straw. What would you?
straw length, bitch, length. Flip that thing, be like, hey.
And you could style it probably.
You
Leaves would
could.
be very brittle and break.
Yeah, no, leaves or no. That's like layers. That's too many layers. I want a nice long blunt cut down to my ass.
That'd be too many leaves. Would you rather smell like pumpkin pie or smell like coffee?
Okay, these are good. These are very, very good. I smell like coffee quite often because I love espresso. So I like that really strong espresso. That like
That me espresso?
That me espresso. I think because I am aware that the world is kind of split between coffee, tea. That's like a 50-50.
Okay.
Or I feel like pumpkin's like a 70-30.
Okay.
I'll go with pumpkin for the season. And honestly, coffee can be all year round. No,
Yeah.
pumpkin.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Would you rather carve a pumpkin or make a costume?
I make a lot of fucking costumes. I've probably carved like 3 pumpkins in my life. Carve a pumpkin, honestly. I mean,
You are very good. Well,
We
we're going to
have-
show some pictures.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
I've
we
done
have
some
them.
sickening pumpkins
You have,
in
yeah.
my life, okay?
I started them and then you
When I
finished
say like some sickening pumpkins, I mean one, but still, it was really good. Do you remember that one that I'm talking about?
There's a couple, yeah.
No, there's one though. Well,
That's like
we'll
a-
talk about that in a little bit.
A portrait type of
There
thing?
is different etching you can do into pumpkins to get different light to come out. If you go like halfway through the like layer, like you can show a little bit of light. We're gonna talk about this. One year I went psychotic and made a Sphinx cat pumpkin, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
There's like a little portrait. Anyway, would you rather only have candy corn for dessert or only eat apples for breakfast?
Apples for breakfast.
Okay.
Candy corn's not good.
But there's no protein in apples. So
But
think
there's
about
protein in candy corn?
No, but that's dessert. So the protein-filled breakfast that you have every morning is now just going to be apples.
Well, I can get my protein in lunch.
She's resourceful. Would you rather have a cold fall or a cold spring?
A cold fall or a cold fall? That's like the stupidest question I've ever heard in my life.
Why? You might like it to be colder in the spring. No?
But then,
I like a cold spring.
I guess.
I like a brisk fall.
I like the Poland Springs. I don't know. This is a weird question.
I told you they were abstract, bitch. Would you rather do a corn maze or paint pumpkins?
A corn maze. I do like a corn maze. They're fun.
They are fun. I don't like painting either. I would rather carve than paint, I
Yep.
think, too. That's not a question, but we're putting that one out there. This one was just for me. Would you rather have a squirrel's tail or a fox's nose?
Well, you had a squirrel's tail the other day.
You bitch. How dare you?
Yeah, if you've seen our story, one of the cats outside got a squirrel. It didn't end up too well for him. A squirrel's tail or what?
A fox's nose. Little cute little.
A fox's nose. I guess a squirrel's tail. They're pretty cute.
Yeah,
They're
little
voluptuous.
poofy.
I want like the sandy tail. Like, it gets real
goes
big.
up.
It flips up. Yep.
Would you rather eat sour apple pie or a sour candy apple?
Sour apple. Like, did it go bad?
No, like it's like.
Or did it ferment and there's like a little alcohol in there? Now you're getting me excited.
No, there's specific apples that are like more sour.
All right, sour apple pie or
A sour candy apple, like the little dipped thing.
sour candy apple.
Okay. Would you rather go on a spooky hayride or get lost in a corn maze?
Get lost in a corn maze. I'm still in the corn maze life.
You're in a corn
Yeah.
maze? I think I like a hayride better.
You're telling me I'm getting lost in it. That's fun because then the fear's real. I'm like a little.
I guess
out.
we didn't specify if it was a spooky corn maze or not. If it's a spooky corn maze, I'm into that. But if it's just like a corn maze where I'm just like walking into a fucking corn husk every time, I'm not that into that.
I mean, it depends. Like Children of the Corn was a real corn maze. You put me out there in the middle of the night. Scary
I
shit.
hate kids. This one I think I know the answer to, but we'll just go for it anyway. Would you rather jump into a pile of leaves or jump into a ball pit? They
Into
both
a ball pit.
like they both have-
pile of leaves have what bugs?
But the
Lots
other
of
ones
bugs.
have boogers.
They do. They do. That's very true.
And in the
Bugs.
90s, heroin
the
needles.
boogers don't
remember?
crawl. They just stick to me. The bugs crawl on me.
That's disgusting. Would you prefer a pumpkin spice flavored or an apple pie flavored ice cream?
Pumpkin spice.
Okay. Would you rather never be able to eat pumpkin pie again or never be able to drink apple juice again?
Never be able to drink apple juice again. It's just fucking sugar.
I was like, I remember when we first started dating, you used to drink apple juice all the time.
I
That
used
was,
to.
That was one of your
and
drinks.
then I turned into an adult. I mean, when we started dating, that was like 13 years ago at this point.
I just remember that. That was like your Wawa drink. Was always a little apple juice.
Because I'm like, oh, it's just so healthy. It only has as much sugar as a Coca-Cola.
Just get the Coke.
Like,
Would you rather be able to fly like an owl or run fast like a deer?
I'd rather float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, bitch.
Muhammad Ali?
I don't know what the question. All I heard was fly like an owl.
I hate you. Would you rather be able to fly like an owl or run fast like a deer?
Run fast like a deer. I don't want to be flying and shit. I'm like the one person that can fly.
I mean, there's lots of birds and shit that can fly.
So it's just me up there with all these birds like, hey, sup? No, I'd rather run quick.
Owls sit on a thing too, and they go hoot hoot.
No, if I flew, then people would be doing experiments on me and shit. Why is this drag queen flying? If I ran quick, they would just be like, damn, like she's fast.
Okay,
I'm not in the mood for all that attention,
That's
science
fair.
experiments on me.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right. Last one. Would you rather have a talking scarecrow or a talking jack-o'-lantern?
A talking scarecrow, because if you have the talking jack-o'-lantern, the pumpkin is not going to hold that shape for long. It's just going to be like mushy, like by the end of it. So I'm going to go with the talking scarecrow.
And then you can do a whole Wizard of Oz thing.
Literally. I was like, I've already seen a talking scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. He was fierce. He was fabulous. I think we need to give him a reprise.
I live. All right. So
That was fun. They were good. They were good questions.
I
They
was
were
like, I
very
didn't want
good.
them to be like the
I was
most
like,
basic
what's
thing in the
this
world.
gonna be? Like pumpkins or gourds? I was like, no, they were good.
I tried to get. Well, I didn't try. I tried to find a little abstract questions for you. We briefly touched on the phenomenon that it is earlier, but let's go into the thing that's taken over the world every, I guess, starting September for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years. It wasn't a thing growing up, but 1 year it just turned into a thing, and that is pumpkin spice. It literally takes over the entire, at least America. I don't know about the whole world.
It became a personality.
Yes.
Pumpkin spice is a personality.
Like there's the pumpkin spice girl. Like you can picture exactly what she looks like when I describe her. She's got the Uggs. She's got the sweater. She's got those like tight leggings.
Of course she does. She might have a flannel tied around her waist.
Yes. It's
But
some, or a scarf maybe.
Yep.
So what is your favorite kind of a pumpkin spice vibe?
So obviously, you know by now I've kind of given up the PSLs. I do love PSLs, but you can hit 500 calories in a PSL real quick. I'm trying to keep these costumes fitting me. I don't want to have to take them out. So honestly, with pumpkin anymore, it's been more or less adding pumpkin spice to things.
Yeah.
Because there's no calorie to it. It's yogurt. You add a pumpkin spice to that. Those little yogurts, things like that. But I don't go too crazy anymore. I used to be a pumpkin spice latte a day, but like I don't get my daily dose of pumpkin like I used to.
No, it's definitely not as a regular part of our lives anymore.
No, I mean there was a time where we were crazy.
Oh,
like
God,
we were
yeah.
bad.
I think my favorite thing, and I guess you could say it's pumpkin spice favorite. It might be ginger. Is those little Sweetzel's ginger snap,
The ginger snaps,
cookie
I know
things
you
that come
love
out.
them.
They're like my favorite little things. I obviously love a chai tea moment with some pumpkin in it. But
We also like a pumpkin cocktail. Whenever there's pumpkin themed cocktail, we always go for
that
that.
is the
That's
truth.
something.
Like
I love a pumpkin themed cocktail.
pumpkin bourbon.
We also
moment.
went out to this adorable little dinner last night. It was this like 4-course dinner for only
prefix menu
$35,
thing, yeah.
only on Mondays. So we're like, okay, let's go check it out. And the first course was a pumpkin tortellini.
Yep. So
with
good.
pumpkin seeds and this pumpkin cream sauce. That was fucking delicious.
So good,
and
so
I
good.
like that too because like I'm used to pumpkin spice latte, this, that.
Yeah.
It's like the generic level. That took pumpkin and like elevated it a
It
little
was more
bit.
pumpkin, less pumpkin spice. I think.
Very that. It was just like an elevated fancy pumpkin.
And there's one more thing. It's definitely not even a Halloween thing, but there's that one candy bar that we get that's called like the Spiced Warrior or something like that. It's like a fancy chocolate bar that you can get at like Whole Foods or whatever.
Yes, and it has the chai spices.
It literally has
in
like chai
they
and
have
pumpkin
it at Walmart
spices.
now. It's not just Whole Foods exclusive.
There
now.
we go.
Yep.
So in the candy section at Walmart, it's called the Spiced Warriors, like the variety. It's really good. It has like
it's
a spiced
like
favorite.
a $6 chocolate bar. Everybody, I think at
It's
Walmart it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, think about it like Godiva. You're
but
going
like
that
the
route.
ingredients are quality, and it literally like melts in your mouth.
And it has like I think that's what it is too, like a cinnamon kind of a moment.
It is. It's like cinnamon, like
it's-
clove, chai, like rich. It just tastes like rich fall in your mouth.
It's so good. It's so good. So back to pumpkins, the originator of all this. We talked about our pumpkin carving concepts in the past, and one thing we have not touched on yet is our annual tradition and our pumpkin picking. So
Yes.
do you want to tell
Okay, well,
everybody what we do every year for our pumpkin picking?
Let's do that first, and then can we show them the pumpkins?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so our annual pumpkin tradition. Now, I'm going to be honest. Pumpkin picking and apple picking and all those pickings are the biggest scam in the earth since college. No, but like it's the biggest scam ever because they charge you to go there. Then they double the price per pound of what
at
they
least.
at least, and then they charge you that you are paying to do your own labor plus paying more for a pumpkin and an apple.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you're really not going there for the pumpkin or the apple. You are going there for the good time with your family,
The
your
experience.
friends, whoever. So what we decided to do, and I honestly think you guys should take a note from this book. When we go pumpkin
Pro
picking,
tip right here.
we look, and it's hard. You have to really search. Our goal is to get the smallest pumpkin you possibly can while we are on that pumpkin patch. And we will go everywhere.
And
looking.
it's the pumpkins that count as a pumpkin still, not the little gourd ones.
Yes,
too.
not a gourd. It needs to be in full pumpkin format, full pumpkin shape. But when we go pumpkin picking now, we spend about like $1.43.
The pumpkin will be the size of her microphone thing.
Like this, yeah. And we still get to have the time of our lives.
It's
And then we
amazing.
get to go to ShopRite after and then carve pumpkins that only cost $5.
Yeah, we buy the like $4.99 pumpkin from ShopRite that's like this big, and
Yep.
then we carve the shit out of that.
Yeah, so that was a little fall hack that we discovered. Probably a
It
good
was,
10
it
years.
was like in the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
I think we did the first year.
I mean, we were two teenagers that were broke, so we were like, "Yeah, let's."
Well,
let's
that's
do
exactly I
this.
think what happened. I think the first year we did the whole experience, and then we got to the thing at the end, and it was like $42. I'm like, for 2 fucking pumpkins, and I was like, okay, here you go. And then the following year after, I think we started being extreme couponers and whatnot, and then that just
The
translated
extreme
into
couponing era.
Good times,
That's going
good
to be a
times.
full episode one day. But yeah, it's the best way to honestly still get that like fall fix, but save some money.
Yeah. So we do have some of the photos of some of the jack-o'-lanterns
This
or whatever
is what
that
I'm
we've
excited
carved.
for. Now, we have not carved like crazy in some time. Let's
No, I think
let's
it's
be
been
honest.
a good few years.
It's been a couple years. So these are all, I'd say, at least 3+ years old.
Evan, could you bring them up over here, please?
So let's see what we've got.
All right, so first
All
up,
right.
this, I don't know if you remember, but this is the pumpkins that we picked that we spent $40-something
Yes, these are the ones
on.
that we actually went to the place. And if
Yep.
I'm correct, I carved the one on the right, which is the cat on the pumpkin.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I think you finished both of them.
Did I?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I believe I definitely started the dragon one, but things like this I get over very quickly, and I believe you finished it for me once you were done your masterpiece on the
I
right.
kind of do remember adding the stars to yours. There was that little tool thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I do recall this. So yeah, this was our first attempt at trying to really slay the pumpkin carving game, but this did not use the technique of the shadowing that I was talking about.
Nope. This one, that was just a direct cutout.
Okay, now this one, when I tell you, I went feral to make this Sphinx cat, okay? There is shadowing, there is multiple different layers to get the textures on this. I went crazy for this. The best part about this, though, is because you're only cutting out like half of the flesh, it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
I remember we got like 3 weeks out of that bitch.
Yep. And I like the fact, too, that I don't remember if it was or not, but is that our Sphinx? It is, right?
No, so that was a pattern from online.
Oh, I was
that
like, it
was
looks
a pattern
just
from online.
frickin' like him,
I,
so.
I like I searched the internet for a pattern of a Sphinx cat online, and I think I might have even paid for it, honestly.
Yeah, I think you definitely did. It was like an
And
Etsy kind of a thing.
We
You downloaded it.
got it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So then in addition to that, we also used to be avid bakers, if you remember.
Yes,
and
I do.
There was some crazy cupcakes that we made one time.
Well, we did a lot of different variations, but I think we only did a Halloween one once.
Yeah. I remember we did like a shark birthday cake for my nephew or something one time. And
we did
some other...
ice cream cones that looked like sundaes that were cups. I did them.
Oh my God!
For work.
Yep. But then we did these Halloween cupcakes.
These guys were little glass shatter cupcakes that were actually a lot easier to make than you would think. All that glass is on top is literally like sugar cooked down, and then like you let it cool.
Yeah, you put it on a sheet or whatever, and then it like all
crack it, dig it in. But
like
yeah, we definitely have our fun with Halloween.
Yeah, that was fun. So beyond that, we also have our fun, of course, with our Halloween costumes. We'll obviously get into drag Halloween costumes and costuming with drags and stuff like that. But as often as we can, we try to have a little fun out of drag for Halloween.
We do it. I mean, obviously, every Halloween, I try to turn at least one new costume. So Halloween does tend to... It becomes a bill we spend some money on, so we tend to not buy ourselves costumes out of drag anymore. But we did do a couple that I'd say are pretty iconic, right?
Definitely. So I think first up we have probably the last costume or so that we did as single folk before we met. So my first costume here is...
I don't know if I've ever seen this.
It's on my Facebook, so you clearly didn't stalk well enough.
I do think I've seen it actually literally on your Facebook years ago.
It's like back buried.
Adam Lambert?
Yes, literally. This is my Adam Lambert with my like Samsung BlackBerry type phone thing that I had there. But this was like literally like the year after Adam Lambert was on American Idol. And I don't know, I was obsessed.
Were you out yet?
Yes, barely, but yes. Yeah, that was like 2 years after I came out. And then this was...
me as Bam Bam. This was when I was working at a salon. It no longer exists, called Salon Limelight. And me and my friend Ashley, we did matching costumes as Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Oh, that's adorable.
And then also I roped another bitch into it too. Do you remember my friend Andrea?
Oh,
Aiden?
Yeah.
I had her do Pebbles as well. So I had multiple people to...
You had options in case
I had
called
options
out?
just in case, literally.
I love it.
Also this year, I remember as well, this was the Halloween it snowed probably like 8 years ago, and I was outside shirtless in a skirt in the snow.
13 years ago.
Yep. Was it?
It was before our time.
Holy shit. Oh my God. So that was like 15 years ago then at this point. That's crazy to think about. Oh my God. I'm an old lady.
About 300.
Damn. 300 years or so, darling. This one is the stereotypical classic gay couple costume. You will see this 55 times this Halloween. Mario and Luigi,
I think
everybody.
this was our first little Halloween together, if I remember
First couple
correctly.
costume.
So
So
cute, so
original, so cute. Oh, this is when we went to Halloween Horror Nights.
This isn't really a costume, but we always love to dye our hair fun colors.
We were wearing our Good Guy Chucky shirts, which is one of the looks I'm turning this year. Very excited.
Yeah, that was, I think, last year or the year before, the Universal
I think that was last year that we went. It was last year. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I will say I was a little bummed that they didn't have the Chucky popcorn bucket that we literally almost specifically went there for. The $60 Chucky bucket. We got there and they ran out, and I was like, oh,
we went like October 2nd.
We did. We went really, really early. They're like, no, we sold out like the first week. It was that crazy. Anyway, this one is one we had to do.
Oh, yeah.
I love Cruella de Vil. If you know me, you know that for sure. But I never ever get to do the Dalmatian, so we switched roles. And I was the Dalmatian, and Jimmy was Cruella de Vil.
Yep, there is a drag version of this as well, and that's me.
Jimmy has a gray streak in his hair.
I repurposed Astala Vista's Cruella de Vil drag coat.
We went to our friend Eden's party that night, I recall.
Okay, yep.
These are little looks I made for when we went to see Wicked.
Oh, yes.
Which is coming up this November.
Yes.
We're doing Wicked shows literally everywhere. The new movie comes out. We are very excited, but let's spill some tea, Jimmy. We need to go see Wicked again.
We do.
All right,
oh,
so
we're telling them.
Let's just be honest with you. All right, I love Wicked for what I've seen.
I love the soundtrack that I've listened to on
literally,
iTunes.
but what I've seen isn't much, because when we went to go see Wicked, we made matching costumes. We were hyped. We were lit. We went day drinking beforehand. By the time we got to Wicked, we were so damn drunk. We bought drinks from with the cups that are Wicked.
We bought two each.
We didn't take a sip of any of them, and we literally passed out in our chairs and didn't see Wicked. So we paid to see Wicked. We paid $40 for multiple drinks that we never drank.
I remember we were in the front row. What was it called? Like the mezzanine or whatever, the second level up. We were in the front row of that, right in front of the railing, and I just remember the whole time just being like...
Yep, we went out for tacos, shots, margaritas beforehand. We got litty titty.
I remember they had purple drinks with glitter
they
in
were
them.
defying gravity because everything was a little wobbly. That's the only thing I remember.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and I think this one, this next one here was last year, if I remember correctly.
Yes. So this was all right. This was called a cheap costume because we need to get something together quick. We went to Disney World for my dad's birthday a couple months before this, and we made tie-dye shirts. There was a little thing at the Disney hotel you can make tie-dye shirts. So we had those. Then I enjoy these snacks. They're called hip peas. It's like some I don't know,
chickpea or something.
A chickpea themed snack, and I was like, oh, I have the idea. We could be hippies for fucking Halloween.
It was adorable.
We got little headbands, put glasses on, and we were hippies.
Yeah, that was for, I think, Ophelia's Halloween party.
That was for Ophelia's party. Oh, and that's because we were going to her house and we wanted to bring a lot of weed. So we're like, oh no, it's fitting the character.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I had my my broken
It's
wristband.
props.
That was when my wrist was broken, I remember. I shattered my wrist
I
into
remember
55
that one.
places.
You're
That
still
was lovely.
horrified to go roller skating to this
Terrified.
day. I try to get him to go roller skating at least once a week.
All right, I need to validate this because when I was 11 years old, I broke this wrist doing what? Roller skating. And then when I was 31, 2, however old I was, I broke this wrist roller skating. So yes, I am slightly
So
terrified.
what does that mean, everybody? I need to get better at roller skating.
Well, I don't think it's starting anytime soon. That's for sure.
You've went multiple times though since you've broken the other
I
wrist.
know, I'm still terrified every time though.
It's okay.
I know.
You're gonna get through it.
Somebody needs to hold my hand.
Just keep it. Break an ankle next time. Go hard.
I've already decided I'm not bracing myself again if I ever fall. Just let it happen.
Fall on the kid. The last time a kid like zoomed in front of him and tripped him.
Both times it was an 11-year-old, except the first time I was also
He
an
would have been
11-year-old.
taking a four-wheel to the face, like whoosh.
I yelled at his parents.
I know. I remember. You were a sassy little girl.
I was mad, little bitch. So we briefly touched on this as well. Obviously, we incorporate Halloween and drag into one another constantly. Halloween is probably like our second busiest season of the year following Pride Month. So she takes over as far as costuming and things like that go.
She's the girl for October.
Yeah, we've tried to do as many matching costumes as we can. Plus, you have plenty of some solo looks. So
I have a lot of Halloween costumes. It's crazy.
Like Disney and Halloween.
It's
for
like
you were pretty tied.
Well, this one I believe was not actually a Halloween costume. This one over here I see was a Disney costume.
There's a couple.
It was
We're
our
gonna fudge
first
it.
Mickey and Minnie little
cute, so
duet.
This was a very like DIY.
Can I tell you, I made those shorts for you, and I remember exactly what I did.
I do too.
So those buttons on your shorts are the bottom of Solo cups.
The perfect little circle.
I cut the bottom of that Solo cup out. I flipped it around and I glued it on shorts, and I said, "You're Mickey Mouse, bitch."
You did.
Creative diva right here.
And those are like $5 Walmart basketball shorts.
Next we have the iconic Tommy and Angelica.
An inflatable Reptar in
with
the background.
Reptar in the back. This was I think for a 90s show. We did the entire
it was
cast. We had every
something.
single person.
Cartoon, I think it was a cartoon show.
We had every single person from the Rugrats. Every kid. Every single one. We had Kimmy. We had literally everybody in there. That was a lot of fun. We did that one at DragCon too, I remember.
Yep.
You're just walking around in a diaper.
Yep. And then we had the inflatable Reptar there, and Lady Bunny came up and talked to the thing and pretended that it was RuPaul.
Yes. That was before Lady Bunny went full political psycho.
That's okay. We all have our days. Oh, and here's what I talked about before, the drag version of Cruella and the Dog.
This one was first. I remember that.
Yes.
This one was first. This was the classic Cruella with the Dalmatian. I don't know where the hell that suit went.
I was just thinking about that.
I've never seen that since.
We might have returned it. It might have been one of our Amazon scams.
That's true. It happens, girl. Gotta make it work.
Daddy baby.
Obviously, we know this one. This is one of my favorites. This is our Beauty and the Beast look, where I think about 4 years ago at this point now.
It was 22.
3 years ago?
2.5.
3 years ago, mid Beauty and the Beast performance, Jimmy proposed to me and shocked the hell out of me on stage. That was amazing.
That was a great day. We've played it in a previous episode of the podcast. I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Slay.
Oh, this was a recent look last year.
We were just talking about this Barbie look,
Yep.
the Barbie premiere. This is what we did at the Barbie premiere. We obviously wanted to slay for the Barbie movie, and I think we did pretty damn good. The only thing I will say, the best suggestion you had was that wig. Because I remember at first, we were just going to bleach your hair blonde.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I think I need a wig. And I was like, I don't know. The wig,
I didn't have the surfer.
The wig was the move.
You need the plastic
wig was the
surfer
move.
hair. Yeah. It's itchy as hell, but it's nice. Oh, this guy here.
Oh, and then, of course, Mean Girls, Jimmy channeling his Damien energy. And I was serving you some
I was too gay to function.
Miss George Cool Mom realness. So we honestly, that's the thing with us.
Yeah.
I forget. We do so many looks all the time together. It's not just Halloween.
I was
for
like,
us.
it's like every
really
day is Halloween.
Literally, like next month, November, you're going to see Jimmy as a moon man and an alien during my Sabrina number, because that's just what we do.
And I'm sure something during the Wicked shows.
I'm sure something.
I have a monkey costume and a tornado costume, so I'm sure I'll be pulling one of those out.
Literally, like the flying monkey, we need that. But like, we do so many costumes together, I forget it's not just Halloween for us. It's all the damn time.
Halloween is almost every day in the drag world.
It really is. People are like, "Oh, are you so excited to dress up?" I'm like, well, I kind of do it. I kind of do it a couple times a week, so like I'm just as excited as always.
Yeah, and that's another thing we didn't really touch on is Halloween is the birth of a lot of baby drag queens.
It is. It absolutely is.
As it says, you said you wanted to dress as a girl when you were growing up. It's a lot of times that people take that first plunge because it's a little more socially acceptable or whatever the phrase.
To do their first like female costume.
Yep.
Now what I use Halloween for me, what makes me get the fun out of it is using it as a horror.
When you can do something like dark and
I
spooky.
like to do something dark and spooky.
Yep.
And I'm like, let's get a little like edgier and a little darker with it.
You do love that whole world, the horror movie world. We should do an entire episode on
horror movie
movies.
episode. I would love that.
I think
I would
that's
absolutely love that.
An easy thing to talk about.
But I've done my like generic costumes. I mean, right now I haven't even really talked about like I'm dressed as Winifred right now. We all love Hocus Pocus and everything. Definitely one of my faves, but it's not in that like horror category.
No. She's like a
I love
family
Halloween
cult
Town.
She's very
love all these. But now like when I think of Halloween, I want that to be the month where like things can get a little darker, bloodier, and crazier.
I remember when we were growing up, every year would be like when the new Saw movie would come out. Every Halloween, and they got crappier and crappier every year. But
I
we
like
still look
Saw.
forward to it.
He is like crazy gory.
Yeah.
Where I do like a fantasy killer more.
I agree.
I love Freddy. Freddy's probably my number one. Freddy and Chucky are tied. Like I want them to go at it against each other in a movie. That would be iconic. Jason, Michael Myers, ones that like things happen that are ridiculous.
And
like why
smarter.
is a killer in space?
Yep.
He shouldn't be in space. That's ridiculous.
That was great though.
But I love that.
Yep. And then all the crazy Chucky spin-offs towards the end of
Why
those.
does Chucky have a non-binary child?
And
I love that
whole wedding moment. It's to prove that Chucky's a gay icon.
It's literally like
literally
I
what it
love
is.
when they just get so far out there. You're like, okay, this is fantasy now.
No, and I think the Saw movies too just kept trying to like outdo themselves in the blood and gore thing. And I haven't seen the last couple, but I've heard that they've kind of like gone back to storyline a little bit more and like have brought some of the things.
Well,
back.
it was a shock factor of how crazy can you start ripping shit out of people.
Yeah, and then I think the world got kind of scary, and people were like, "I don't need to see all this fucking gore anymore."
Very that.
Like it gets
Very
a little
that.
too real. But we've pretty much touched on just about everything Halloween that I
feel
can
like
think
we've
of.
talked about generic Halloween, but I think, like you said, I like the idea of kind of diving in a little deeper for something like maybe a Halloween or a horror themed episode.
I love that.
Something like that.
We
in the
can go
future.
in so many different routes. There's like all of the popular horror things. There's some more of the like culty horror things that people don't even know about. I know Katya, the drag queen, for example, is a big fan of horror movies, and she talks about all these like crazy, gory ones that don't even ever make it to theaters. That'll like change your life. When you watch
there's
them.
a lot of them that I've not seen. So we should honestly like
do a little research.
Commit now to diving into a couple.
I agree.
Doing that, and
I
then
agree.
because like what was the one we just watched the other day? The Deliverance.
Yes.
The Deliverance was if you have Netflix.
Pretty sure. Yep.
You go watch The Deliverance
Glenn
this Halloween
Close,
season.
The bitch who played Cruella DeVille in those 101 Dalmatian movies.
Oh my
Plus other
God. It was great. So yes, I
So
agree.
good.
There's some that are like even newer or ones that are underground that we haven't heard of that we definitely need to check out.
Definitely. We'll be planning that for the next episode. Or
I
two
love
from now.
that.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps things up for today. Do you want to say goodbye to the
I don't
children?
know.
first?
I feel like I'm not done either though. Like
Well, what else do you have to talk about,
I
Winnie?
don't know. Is it just that there's so much more to talk about that we need to do another episode?
I think we'll definitely be doing.
All right.
another
I guess
episode.
we can leave it at that then. I'll
Leave them wanting
I'll blow
more.
out this fully lit black flame candle right now.
It's because there's no virgins in the room.
I don't know what you mean. Who me? Rue, never.
Rue, never.
Never. All right, guys. So let's talk. Let's chat. Next week we are going to be coming back with a Pop Diva episode. But after that Pop Diva episode, I think we can do something a little
We'll do
darker.
something spooky.
Spooky, adjacent, horror theme, just something to get this Halloween fix
Maybe
out.
some kind of
Maybe it's
spooky
because
special guest.
It's also like right now the beginning of October, and I'm just starting to feel the Halloween vibes. That's why I wanted to keep going. So yeah, let's extend this into another episode. I love that. Maybe a special guest. I
spooky
love
special guest.
that.
I think that's
So
gonna be it.
as you hear, we have a lot of ideas rumbling in our head right now, but in about 2 weeks, you'll see what really happens. Okay. With that being said, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into our first ever Hollow Queen episode of For the Love of Drag Pod. I want to give a big thank you to all of our close fam sponsors, as well as an even bigger thank you to all of our Call Me Mother sponsors, The Drag Fan 27, Kathy P, Barbara Ranbo, and Barbella Whiskey. Yes. Or no, it's a Halloween episode. Boo. Do you have anything else to say, Jimmy?
No, thank you guys all so much for your support. Literally, you guys supporting us is what makes everything that we do possible, and we couldn't thank you enough.
With that being said, I guess we will see you next week for the Pop Diva edition of For the Love of Drag. We'll be talking about Britney, Christina, Cher, Madonna, Sabrina Carpenter.
I might go off on Chaperone a little bit.
Oh, snap. He's got a vengeance over there. He will leave you in stitches, okay? With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, hasta la vista for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.